Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome. I've got a video for you. I know. Don't have that very often. Well, I've had issues with the game client, I'll be honest, and it's taken some fixing, otherwise known as completely uninstalling the game and reinstalling it from scratch, and that was after some faffing around, and it's all been a bit of a pain, but here we are now. The festive season is well and truly upon us, ladies and gentlemen, and so I thought we'd have a video that is really not designed to be taken too seriously. There will be some usage of gold. Oh no! What are we going to do? But I'm sure we'll all cope. Each of these replays is in its own way a little bit silly. We are kicking off proceedings with, you know, I could try and say his entire name, but we're just going to call him Reverse Unicorn because that is fairly close. We are here with Reverse Unicorn. He is driving the A25 Harry Hopkins, which is not a tank I really know anything about. We shall see. As far as I can work out, it's a little tier 4 British light tank. I think it's a premium. And it appears to have a 6-pounder gun. 6-pounder? It's not a 6-pounder, it's a 2-pounder gun, I believe. With, 55 damage, 121 penetration. It's basically got the Matilda's gun. Which, actually, I mean, the Matilda's gun is good on the Matilda, let's be honest. And the Matilda is a slow tank. So having it here on a... Okay, I'm not going to say the Hopkins is ridiculously fast, but it's faster than a Matilda. That's not a bad combination. And this thing's got a little bit of armor. It's not anything to really get too excited about, but it's enough that you might be able to pop a bounce here or there. Oh no, spotted, and with your butt showing. That's not a good position to be in, and oh no, Reverse Unicorn has decided to have his bottom showing and to stop on top of the hill. Not perhaps his best move, but he gets away with it. I'd like to point out, by the way, that judging from the way he describes this particular replay, I don't think Reverse Unicorn is trying to claim to be some particular god at video games, by the way. So, he's, as far as I can work out, he's a player with some battles under his belt, and this is, of course, only a tier 4 machine. Then again, he's in a tier 6 match, so whatever. By the way, the map, I can't remember the name of this map. It is Ghost Town that we are on, and this BT7 is having a bad day. And let's be fair to Reverse Unicorn here. Even if he were to immolate, spontaneously combust, and cease to exist right at this very moment, he's a bottom tier tank, and he's done a bit of damage, and over 800 assistance. He's not had a bad game already. So, nothing to really be ashamed about here. So let's see what he can do. Now, I said this game was a little bit silly, and it is, but we are going to have to be patient. Really, the silly thing is, spoiler alert, he's a tier 4 in a tier 6 game, and we'll see the end plates, okay? When it comes down to his ammo usage, by the way, whilst you may well critique him, or question his choice of having 80 gold rounds in this thing, given that the difference in penetration is only about 20 mil, at tier 4. I mean, if he wants to do that, he wants to do that. And he's going to burn through a lot of that, but he's kind of going to burn through a lot of that because he's going to burn through a lot of ammo. So, just bear in mind. Panzer 3J, looking a little bit proud up there, perhaps. Eat 2-pounder gun, scum. I find there's something satisfying about these tiny little pew-pew guns. I'm not saying they're always very good. They have their problems, but there's something satisfying about just nickel and diming people to death. Now, I should point out, the DPM on this gun is not fantastic. Oh, that one didn't penetrate. Can he squeak one in? Yes, he can. Oh no, oh no, that guy's going to have a very bad day. 14 TP, no, don't do it. You've got so much to live for. Oh, come on, Reverse Unicorn. Yes, finally he picks up a kill. That is kill number 1. But it will not be kill number done. Anyway, let's have a look at the broader game. It ain't looking great. Reverse Unicorn's team are down on hit points. They are down on tanks. They are down on map position. They are, broadly speaking, just down. But that KV-85 seems to have decided that Reverse Unicorn could do with some shots into his soft and squishy side, much as that Excelsior has done, although the Excelsior has managed to bounce him. Fair play. And soft and squishy Unicorn, Reverse Unicorn, I can do names, is making pretty good use of this position. And frankly, the way this game is going, there isn't necessarily that much more Reverse Unicorn should be doing. Their base is getting pushed pretty hard. They're probably going to lose their artillery shortly, so he really needs to make the best of this and try and put some damage on these guys while he can. And while he's got the sides of these top tier tanks, you know, this gun has half decent move, has half decent penetration at tier 4 regardless, so the penetration on this gun can actually threaten the front of many of these tier 6s, but in front of an Excelsior, that's probably a little bit optimistic. Then again, he's switched to the gold, which, given the situation, is understandable. Right, T-34 and Excelsior. So you do not need to be using a gold ammo here, but I appreciate he has quite a lot of it. Anyway, this is the thing, like, it bounces on the Excelsior anyway. But anyway, regardless. So there are two of them left. Reverse Unicorn is trying to defend his base against the oncoming hordes, and it's a bit awkward. It's just him and a friendly T-34 remaining. The T-34 is behind Reverse Unicorn here, so you make of that what you will. Like, both of these guys have spent a lot of this game kind of farming up damage, shall we say, bye-bye Excelsior. But, you know, some games you do what you can, especially when you're bottom tier. And if you can just have an impact, then more power to you. Right, that guy, oh, there's a medium tank coming up behind Reverse Unicorn here. He has to be a little bit careful, but that T-34 is a one-shot. A delicious, delicious one-shot. Be really good to be able to take this guy out. Much like that. There's a Stug over there. Really don't want to die to that Stug. And how is that T-34 still alive? Whoops. I'll keep my trap shut next time. Anyway, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 enemy tanks. Helpfully, whilst strictly speaking, Reverse Unicorn was bottom tier, and, you know, he was bottom tier. Oh, goodbye, sweet prince. There was only actually one proper tier 6 on each team. That was the KV-85 in the case of the enemy team that we saw earlier on. That was a bit optimistic. Like, sitting there for that long, that was asking for a paddling, let's be honest. Now, he's driving around in circles. All the enemy team has to do here, by the way, is just keep him lit up. No, I was going to say just keep him lit up and artillery would do the rest, but Reverse Unicorn is not being completely stupid. His position there is open to artillery, he needs to be somewhere else. It is now a 5 versus 1 situation. Oh, and Reverse Unicorn's on 33 hit points. Oh no. But there is opportunity here, because of those 5 tanks, 2 of them are, of course, self-propelled guns. Now, it would be really nice just to go and hunt those SPGs. The problem is, if Reverse Unicorn does that, his base is going to get capped. So this is where a lot of people would go for the damage on the SPGs and just say, screw it. Reverse Unicorn, to his credit, does not. But this is a dicey situation. Shot there into the T-67. Another shot into the T-67. Really need the reset on the base. Really need to hit that Stug. That one bounced. Come on, Stuggy boy. There we go. There's the reset. These guys are doing this all kinds of wrong. The Harry Hopkins is not a particularly fast tank. If the T-34, the T-67, and the Stug were just to blitz him, like, he'd be dead. Like, even if one of these guys were to come for him, he'd probably be dead. What they're trying to do is cap out in a situation that does not lend itself to capping, because there is a light tank in the bushes who can see you and who can shoot you. Yeah, that ain't great. And there goes the T-34. 1 versus 4. Oh, there's the Stug, who's just been trying to cap all game. You know when you get those situations when people say, no cap, kill all. Well, there is sometimes a genuine and sound tactical reason for that, and this Stug is demonstrating what it is. By essentially sitting in the capture circle, he's just removed his tank from the situation. It's not being useful to his team, and suddenly, it's 1 versus 3. Now, there's a T-67 somewhere, but we don't know where. He hasn't been spotted in a while, which is interesting. You'd think that T-67 would have been doing something. They all know that Reverse Unicorn is a one-shot. They know someone could sneeze on Reverse Unicorn and that would be it. All any of these guys had to do was find him. He's not that fast. And artillery could have sneezed in his general direction and this would all be over. However, they did not. And they did not. And it is not. And so forth rides the Unicorn. Now, the T-67 is applying no pressure. The obvious thing to do is to go and murder the enemy artillery. Now, the downside to that is if the T-67 on the enemy team has 3 brain cells to rub together, he's worked that out. Reverse Unicorn dithers here a little bit, which is a bit sad. Well, I get it. Like, if he gets spotted out by the T-67, he's dead. Unless he gets incredibly lucky. So I understand why you wouldn't completely go for it, but at the same time, there's less than 4 minutes on the clock. And suddenly the T-67 shows his hand. What has he been doing for the last 5 minutes? Just driving around the map, having a merry little sojourn. Now, in fairness, I don't want to be too harsh to him, because this is a tier 6 match. You can burn your way up to tier 4 very quickly. T-67 is tier 5, you can get up to tier 5 pretty darn quickly. So this guy could well be inexperienced. Fine. Whatever. But having just seen 2 or 3 of his teammates pull this exact stunt, trying to cap out, oh, now there's 2 of them. They think they can do better. Reverse Unicorn, you're going to have to do something about this binos up. It's not enough. Do you blind fire? Do you go for the base? What do you do? Oh no, there's an artillery piece. Well, there's the enemy artillery. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And boom! Fire the gun. There we go. And getting that reset. Now, it's going to take long enough for these guys to cap that Reverse Unicorn can work that guy down a little bit. There's some more reset points, but he is going to reach a point where he really needs to kill that last artillery piece. And where is that T-67? Is it both artillery pieces that are trying to cap here? Has the enemy T-67 just gone AFK? Ooh, someone's come out of the cap circle. Unfortunately, Reverse Unicorn pulls back here, and I get it. He's trying to get some distance between him and them, but he's in a light tank. His target, whether it be the T-67 or the left is going to be on the move. Both of those tanks have abysmal view range. With binos up, he had the advantage. I think pulling back from that position is a mistake. But again, Reverse Unicorn here does not claim to be God's gift to video games. So how is this going to pan out? 1 minute 40 on the clock. I told you this was going to be a long one. I'd also like to point out he's done almost 3,000 damage in a tier 4 in a tier 6 match. See, the problem now is, because Reverse Unicorn broke contact, he doesn't know where they are. And there's only a minute on the clock. I mean, they don't know where he is either. But given how they were playing, this seemed to be a situation that he could have taken advantage of. So, if I was going to give... If Reverse Unicorn ever watches this, if I was going to give him any advice, it would be to try and be a little more aggressive where the situation dictates. You can't cap. There is nothing to be gained from going back and trying to... Well, okay. You could farm up a Radley Walters medal, yippee-ki-yay, but you'd still lose. And I don't want to take too much away from Reverse Unicorn here. He has, on 1 hit point, well, 33 hit points, as a one-shot, managed to beat up the enemy team. But I'm afraid with 30 seconds left on the clock, I think you might be able to see this one's how this one's going to go. Yeah. So it was the T-67 who was capping. Goodness knows what's happened to him. There is the Lefefefer. He's not even turning to face Reverse Unicorn. This guy's got 3 kills. He wasn't AFK. Reverse Unicorn's going to farm the chap by the looks of it. Which, with a few seconds left on the clock, fair enough. But it would have been nice to take out that T-67 earlier on. As it is, that is the match. Make of it what you will. Let's have a look at the post-game stats. Ooh, that one stings. Ace Tanker, Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, and a long list of other medals. What have we got? Top Gun, High Caliber, Defender, and Orlix medal for murdering light tanks. A Pascucci's medal for killing SPGs, and that is a Yoshio Tamada's medal. I haven't got many of those myself. Again, it's for killing higher tier SPGs, essentially. That is a painful draw. Again, please remember, this is a tier 4 tank in a tier 6 world. So, did Reverse Unicorn play that perfectly? No. There were bits that he could have done better. However, gave it a fair shot. You know, credit where credit is due. That is a lot of damage for a tier 4 in a tier 6 world. 3,567 of those damages to be exact. 8 kills, 1,649 base experience for that ace. Bearing in mind, of course, he gets an XP bonus because he got a whole bunch of awards and was on the losing team. Yeah, in fairness, the friendly T-150 didn't have an abysmal game. 1,200 damage from him. About the same as the enemy KV-85. So the tier 6s did fine. It was just across the board, the enemy team just ended up being a bit better in most regards. Apart from, well, Reverse Unicorn. Make of it what you will. There's some silly numbers for a tier 4 tank. 105 shots fired, 80 hits, 68 pens for that damage count. Almost 2,000 damage from longer range. 2 hits received, 2 penned. 5 enemy vehicles spotted, 12 damaged, 8 destroyed, 1,109 assistance damage, all the base defense points, almost 5 kilometers travelled, lots of money. Okay, a lot of it was taken away because of consumables and ammunition, but whatever. Commiserations, Reverse Unicorn. That was a very gallant effort. Well, that was a little bit depressing. Let's have a look at another one. So here we go for our second match, and if you decide to peruse through replays from this game, and you have a look at which tanks, or which games, which matches, whatever, get the most experience, there's one machine that has consistently been the one to beat, and you're looking at it. This is the Soviet Tier 5 Premium Heavy Tank. This is the Churchill 3 Lend-Lease. Ooh, it's some interesting driving there. Driven for us today by Ivan. Now, Ivan, if you have an allergy to gold, Ivan may make you come out in hives, but again, this game is not to be taken too seriously. We're really here for the big numbers, so I want you to guess how much experience, base experience, do you think Ivan here can rock up? Take your guesses now. Spoiler alert, it's a lot. So he's in a tier 5 match. Now the Churchill 3 gets preferential matchmaking. So it never sees tier 7s, which is nice. And the way the matchmaker works these days, this is about the best the matchmaking is going to be for you. Long gone, and yes, Ivan really is using gold ammo to demolish scenery. Long gone are the days when a single Churchill 3 could wade through hordes of tier 3 tanks. I remember those days. I was on the receiving end of such a kicking. It was an interesting experience. Now, Ivan here is going to use his stupid penetration on the 6-pounder gun here to make the KV-220 look stupid. He's not even aiming for weak points. Like I said, this game is not to be taken seriously. For what it's worth, if you're faced with a KV-220, you want to shoot it there in the turret. It's basically a KV-3 hull with a KV-1 stock turret on top. Ergo, you want to shoot it in the KV-1 turret. You'll notice just shooting it in the front, even Ivan with his 180, I want to say. 180 penetration with these APCR rounds, still managed to bounce a couple of shots. Hello, Matilda. Again, don't need the gold ammo here, but I'm going to stop mentioning it now. You get the point. I am painfully aware of it. But again, don't take this too seriously. Churchill 3 on the enemy team. Oh, target sighted. That one missed. This gun is not especially accurate. One more shot will finish the guy off like that. And that's kill number 2. And that breaks Ivan over 1,000 damage. So ploughing forwards remorselessly, Ivan spies a Matilda. Among other things, you know. We shall see how long this Matilda is for the world. Well, there's a nice little shot into him. Nickel and diming people to death again. Don't worry. I've got another replay for you in this video which is not nickel and diming. Sorry about that. I have a bit of a proverbial frog throat. Throat frog. Anyway, Ivan is just going for it, giving both opponents his broadside, taking out the T-28, turning to deal with the Matilda, and pewing him. For what it's worth, that's one of the reasons I haven't put many videos out lately. I just seem to have perpetually been stuck with throat lozenge requirements after another, and it's just been awkward. Now, to give credit where credit is due, what Ivan did there and went straight for the Matilda was actually quite a good move in the end, because he was aggressive enough to avoid this KV-1S from shooting him in the butt, which would have sucked. So you really want to make yourself have one opponent at a time wherever possible. We're not doing maths here. Ivan has broken through the 2,000 damage barrier, and these guys apparently can't aim, and that might even be a stock Matilda, I'm not entirely sure. Either way, Ivan's up to over 2,000 damage and 4 kills. He's also burning through his APCR ammunition like it's confetti. There goes the Matilda, and I'm not entirely sure what this KV thinks he's doing. The rate of fire on the Churchill is such that there's no point waiting for the guy to reload. You just rush him down and murder him, because, I mean, well, there we go. It's also worth pointing out the Churchill 3 has quite a nice number of hit points, let's be honest. So, that is 6 kills, 2,868 damage. Oh, surprise KV2. Sorry, not KV2, what am I talking about? Surprise, what the hell is that? SU2 122. You can tell I haven't really played this game much in a while, can't you? Matilda Black Prince. APCR rounds, not necessary. Just shoot the guy in the turret. I did say I'd stop mentioning the gold, didn't I? Oh well. Maybe I'm the one who should tell myself to stop taking this so seriously. Anyway. There we go. So the weak point on the Matilda Black Prince is the turret. It's a Cromwell turret, which is made of paper, on top of a Matilda hull, which is not made of paper, but that thing's at tier 5, as opposed to the regular Matilda at tier 4, so it's not great. Lots and lots of ammo burned at this guy, like that. And lots of track damage for Ivan here, but there we go, that's 8 kills, 3.7k damage. Entertainingly, in terms of hit points, the scores are about even. Oh, there we go. And in terms of kills, oh, in fact, the friendly team's actually down on hit points. Hurrah. So, ploughing round here. What are we expecting to find? Well, there's a VK out there somewhere. There's the... What even? Oh, Simover. I don't even know what that is. A Cheehee, a Matilda, a T-28, and a Stug. Right. Fantastic. Let's just move this along a little bit, because watching a Churchill 3 drive around a map is not particularly interesting. By the way, this map is, of course, Pilsen. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. Anyway, who's next? Is the T-28 round this corner? Well, we can't see him. Now, this is a bit of a dicey situation because, well, someone could shoot Ivan here in the side, and that would be bad. That would absolutely suck. And it is possible that it could happen, so we shall see. Now, in terms of where these guys were last spotted, 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't know where that T-28 is. We know where he was last spotted, but we don't know where he is at the moment. The other 3... well, 3 of the others, I should say, were up on that hill, and then there's one other gentleman who is somewhere. Hello, T-28. Then, yep. I'm not entirely sure what you thought you were doing, mate. Oh, there's the Semoverente. Is that an Italian tank destroyer? I don't know. It sounds like an Italian. And I think it's a tank destroyer. Yeah, it's a tank destroyer. Anyway, Ivan does do a sensible thing there. He moves such that whoever's shooting him in the butt doesn't have an angle to shoot him in the butt anymore. On the downside, he is effectively now versus the entire enemy team. Because the BT-7 is still at base, in fact. One might even suspect he was never here to start with. Oh well, never mind. Right, let's go and try and hunt these guys down then. Ivan does only have 300 hit points, and that's a surprise Stug, and that Stug is the one who, well, got surprised, I suppose. Kill number 9. And then there were 4. Right, let's see what Ivan can do then. Who is going to be next? The T-28 was, of course, last up on that hill. We don't know where the other 2 are, and they could be in this concealment. This could be a terrible idea from Ivan, but the thing is, when you're in a big, dumb, blind heavy tank in a situation like this, your options are a little bit limited. The cap circles are relatively exposed, so what can Ivan do here? Basically, his options are to hunt these guys down as best as he can and hope that they don't gang up on him, because that would suck. Hello, T-28, how are you today? Not really awake, are we? No, it doesn't appear to be the case. One more shot, but of course the guy is... Oh, there we go. Sneaky shot. Oh, there's the Chihi. Okay, so 3 of them left. Now, these Semervalente. I'm probably hideously mispronouncing that, but never mind. We did last spot the guy... Well, I say spot. We were last aware of the guy over here as he tried to shoot Ivan in the butt. So, Ivan is now dealing with this VK. There's one shot. VK screws it, and the VK is done. That just leaves the Chihi and the tank destroyer. 9 rounds of preferred ammunition remaining. And hello Chihi, how are you today? Now it's worth pointing out most of these shots, by the way, Ivan didn't need to use gold. The only case it really made a difference was against the KV-220, and a player who knew what they're doing could have sorted that out with some shots in the turret, but hey ho. There goes a Chihi. Ooh, the Semervalente is over there as well. Oh, and he's bouncing. Oh no, Tier 5 tank destroyer struggling with the front of this Tier 5 heavy tank, and one shot. Ooh, and he's backing off. Now, given that Ivan has bounced this guy a number of times, and this guy is a Tier 5 tank destroyer, I wonder if this gentleman is stock. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh, one more shot. And there we go. That's all she wrote for the enemy team. So thankfully that was a win, because let's be honest, it would have been quite depressing if you'd done all that and it was a loss. Ace Tanker, Bruiser, Hand of God, Duelist, Fire for Effect, Shellproof, Steel Wall, High Caliber, Top Gun, and, of course, the Pools Medal for many, many, many kills. 5,049 damage. 13 kills, and, well, if you guessed the amount of experience, did you guess 3,465? If you did, very well done to you. If you didn't, neither would I. And yes, it looks like the friendly BT-7 there was AFK, but perhaps he wasn't the only one, who knows. Anyway, the enemy team got a little bit wrecked there. That was silly. 93 shots fired, 79 hits, 74 penetrations. For that damage count, 28 hits received, 9 penetrated, 19 didn't. And the rest of the stats are a bit daft. 3,000 and 7,000 credits received, but only a 60,000 credit profit, because gold! Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. We have got one more game to round this video off with. Final match then. And here we go. And we join... Oh, what on earth is this person's name? Hebertuck? What? What am I supposed to do with that? In fairness, that's probably just my own ignorance coming through. We're going to call him Tuck. We join Tuck here. Now, Tuck is driving a tank I know precious little about. What the hell is this? Why do there seem to be rocket boosters on this thing? What is this? I don't know, is this a new bit of equipment or something? I don't know. He's driving the BZ-176, which I think is a tier 8 Chinese heavy tank. I think it's a premium. I appreciate that means all of these games, have had premium tanks in, but hey, that's the wargaming way, right? They want you to buy more stuff in the spirit of Christmas cheer and capitalism. As far I know precious little about this tank apart from it looks stupid. Because it's a heavy tank, it has a turret, it's at tier 8, and it can do that. Now, I would like to point out that Tuck here, once again, is going to give you all a little bit of an allergy to heavy metals. He's just spamming gold like there's no tomorrow. But the problem is, why wouldn't you? Because the damage goes from 650 and the penetration from 208 up to 800 and 225 respectively. Like, why? What is this? What the hell is this? Now, he does have 3 marks of excellence on his gun barrel, which is pretty impressive however you try and frame it. So fair play to Tuck here, but is it just me, or is this tank utterly stupid? I don't know. Anyway, we're here on Pearl River, of course. That's the name of it. Couldn't remember for a second. So why have I chosen this video? Is it because I wanted to complete the trifecta of premium tanks firing unnecessary heavy metal ammunition? No, it is not. Is it because I wanted to advertise premium tanks of wargamings to get you to spend more of your hard-earned cash in a situation where a lot of people at the moment seem to be struggling for money because energy bills and whatnot are through the roof? No, it is also not. Dubious statements aside. The reason... Well, that was just a poor shot. The reason I wanted to show you this video is because of rarity. If I were to ask you to try and think of the rarest achievement, award, medal, call them whatever you want, in this game, there's a couple of medals that might spring to mind. And this game right here, this is about one of them. Blind firing gold ammo. Like, anyway, I'm gonna stop. These are the sorts of replays that honestly, ordinarily I wouldn't show. But let's have fun with it. So, what sort of medals spring to mind? And let's see if you can guess what sort of medal this is going to be about. So, this is a tier 8 maximum game. So there are tier 6s, as we saw earlier on, with that poor mispositioned Jagdpanzer, like that poor sausage. Speaking of poor sausages, goodbye IS-3. Get balanced. Anyway. So, the friendly team have successfully taken this central position on Pearl River. And this is a position that is often fought for on this map. It's nice to see that whilst I haven't played this game in a while, plenty of things appear to be unchanged. There might be tanks with little rocket boosters to make them go faster. And as far as I can work out, the pay-to-win element has been toned up just that little bit more. But some things don't change, and rushing for the central location on Pearl River appears to be among them. And then catching out an unprepared bottom-tier tank destroyer. Anyway, also up there. And the friendly team utterly collapsing is up there too. So what can Tuck do about this? Well, he can set an ambush for a poor tier 6 who's just casually going on his merry way when he receives a heat round through the side of the turret. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Poor little baby. Now, remember that FV4202 from earlier on? Turns out he ain't dumb. He's coming up here to give these guys a little bit of what for. The problem with that is, well, his gun hits for 230 and Tuck's hits for 800. Thankfully, there is a Dickomax who manages to hit Tuck in the side. I say thankfully. That's not quite what I mean. What I mean is, at least from his perspective, the FV4202 this is, he did manage to get, like, what, 600-700 of Tuck's hit points shaved away? So it wasn't completely in vain, but I'm also not convinced it was a particularly far-sighted move. Now Tuck should no longer be spotted. And so those guys who are probably over by their base oh, World of Tanks never change. And so those guys who are camping in relatively predictable locations might want to reconsider their life choices. Speaking of reconsidering their life choices. Oh dear. Ooh. Well, despite being on 5,000 damage and 7 kills, Tuck's team are still losing quite badly. Now, let's try and look on the plus side. The enemy team have run out of tier 8s with that SU-130 kill. Now, Tuck is only on 488 hit points, so he's definitely not invincible, but at the same time... Ah, clever. But at the same time... he's also definitely killable. Now, you might have noticed there that Tuck nudged the wreck of that 4202. And that made artillery have a plop for him. Now that means Tuck knows where the artillery is. The artillery is over by the enemy base. Now that isn't perhaps a huge surprise. If you had to have a guess on where you think the enemy artillery is going to be, you'd guess over by the enemy base, sorry. Nonetheless, it's still good to know. So Tuck's got himself in a position where, frankly, that artillery can't really do a great deal of much, and it looks like there's an Achilles who might try his luck in a moment. Because if you outnumber an opponent and you have numerical superiority versus their qualitative advantage, what you really want to do is come at them one at a time, right? Kill number 8. Can you guess what medal we're going for here yet? Right. So, is anyone else going to try this? You know, if you were going to do this, you'd let one person die, and then before the guy can reload... I said before the guy can reload. You'd rush him down. Alternatively, you could come at him one at a time with roughly 20 seconds in between you to give him optimal time to reload his dirty great big 160mm gun so that he can one-shot you as you come up. Now, we have just been given an interesting piece of information. Someone just drove through the friendly cap circle, which means someone, probably the Super Hellcat or the Type 58, is over by the friendly base. So Tuck here is going for a bit of a reposition. Looks like someone, probably the friendly Hellcat, is dealing with the enemy Super Hellcat. Tuck here might be able to add a bit of a contribution. We shall see. How's that Super Hellcat doing? Is he expecting 16 centimeters of loving to the side? I don't think he was. Oh, God. Oh, dearie me. Oh, Type 58. Now, the Type 58 does manage to take out the friendly T-34-1. And Tuck here is going for another one of those boosts to catch out the Type 58, get this guy killed before the enemy artillery can nail him. Tuck manages to get the kill, doesn't die to enemy artillery, but is now reloading for that Sparpanzer 1C, meaning the Sparpanzer 1C manages to run away. Oh, credit where credit is due to the enemy artillery. That was a very nice shot. Now, Tuck doesn't want this little light tank getting away, and so he doesn't, because a heavy tank with a booster seems like an entirely reasonable proposition. So now there's an enemy Type 58, woefully outmatched, trying to plink off Tuck's front. Now, this game is not in the bag because of artillery. If the enemy Type 58 can keep Tuck lit up for the enemy M12 to chip him down, then this game can definitely still be lost. At the same time, poor little baby. Right, now Tuck's going down here into the low ground to make it harder for artillery to get him. The friendly Hellcat appears to be going for the artillery, although the Hellcat can very definitely be killed by the Type 58. He has to be careful here. Tuck doesn't have a clean shot, I don't think. Not with all that stuff in the way. There's the artillery. Now, I should point out, whilst this gun does have ridiculous damage and decent enough penetration, everything else about the gun sucks. This gun is all about alpha damage, but it's stupid alpha damage, and the fact that the heat rounds are just better damage and better penetration is just frustrating. Now, the friendly Hellcat has gone to his maker somewhere in that. Perhaps not a huge surprise, given that guy was at the sort of hit point range where a stiff breeze would have done him in. And, oh no, spotted by that Type 58. Turns out the Type 58 driver isn't an idiot. He's going to try and lead Tuck a merry race if the if the Type 58's friendly artillery can reposition effectively. This could be a bit dicey. Tuck has broken contact, and what's he going to try and do? How sensible is that Type 58 driver? Is the Type 58 driver going to stay still, or is he going to move? Turns out, well, he moved a bit, and actually he's luring Tuck into a position where artillery might nail him like that. Can I just say, props to this Type 58 driver. Tier 6, Tier 8 match. Not phased, he is in it to win it. And so he is doing what he thinks is necessary to try and win it. That was risky. Oh, good lord. And he is leading Tuck on a merry little goose chase, but alas, their game must come to an end. And Tuck claims kill number 13. That just leaves the artillery. But Tuck is on 44 hit points. 44. We've seen these situations before. You've all seen these situations before. Guy carrying game on no hit points versus last remaining enemy tank who is a self-propelled gun. Well, in this particular situation, Tuck has options. We know where the enemy artillery was last spotted. And so Tuck, if he wants to, can bore this out. He can just sit here in the enemy base. And this means that if the enemy artillery wants to come and get him, he has to come and get him. I know that sounds like it's stating the obvious, but artillery on the move, yeah, terrible gun depression, it's not great. And there we go. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the match. And this video. Let's just for the last time have a look at the post-game stats. And so here we go. We've reached the end of the lollipop. This is the post-game stats for the game we just watched. How imaginative. Can you tell what medal it was? I was trying to encourage you towards yet. Ace Tanker, Hand of God, Duelist, 5 for effect, Shellproof, Top Gun, Steel Wall, High Caliber, and the Rezene Heroes Medal, awarded to a player who single-handedly destroys 14 enemy tanks. It says all. Well, the T-34 3 kills one. Basically, nail yourself 14 kills and win. Pretty much. Well done. Well done. Well done. We can talk about stupid tanks as much as we like, but very well done. 7,680 damage, 14 kills, 2,164 base experience. Top banana. Can we just take a moment, by the way, to shout out the enemy Type 58. Now, there were 2 of them. I believe this is the one we want. Yes. Is it this one? No, it was this one. Well, both of them, frankly. Because Finger 1984, there's an interesting username for you, managed 2.3k damage while bottom tier, which is the most damage of anyone on his team. Bottom tier. And Difer 02071977, just rolls off the tongue, almost 2,000 damage, and I believe it was this gentleman who led Tuck on a bit of a merry-go-round at the end. And shout out to enemy artillery in the M12 for giving it a damn good crack. Okay? Credit where credit is due. I mean, that's a lot of damage, blocked some damage. when you're looking down, having spammed gold all game, and you're still looking down the barrel of a 307,000 credit profit, you know you've had a good one. Anyway, there we go. It's the 3 games I wanted to show you in this video. 3 ones to not be taken too seriously. On a serious note, however, Christmas season, as I mentioned, is very definitely upon us. At the time of recording this, it is the big day tomorrow. My little girl is quite excited. I hope all of you enjoy yourselves. Hopefully I will get this video out in time for you to watch it while this comment is still relevant. Should be doable. Have fun. Relax. This year, well, I think everyone, broadly speaking, can agree that 2020 was an interesting year. 2021 was weird in that it wasn't an improvement, and 2022, if anything, might suck even more. It certainly has from my perspective. But regardless, I hope you guys have a lovely Christmas, is what I'm trying to say in a very roundabout and waffly way. Have fun, spend it with friends, spend it with family, spend it with whoever you like. Try and enjoy it. And just have a good one. And I hope I will catch you in another video in the not too distant future. And I also hope you enjoyed this little Christmas gift to soak away, 40 minutes of your time. So with that, I will finally shut up and let you get back to eating turkey, pulling crackers, and watching the King's speech. Ciao, ciao.